Welcome to BEMER. My name is Anne Bernard. I'm an acupuncturist and naturopath, and I've been combining the BEMER with my practice for the last 10 years with absolutely great results. This is what the BEMER looks like: a mat, and you lay on it 8 minutes twice a day, and it is controlled by a little control box, a mini computer. And when you lay on the BEMER for 8 minutes, here is what's happening in your body. You see little capillaries filled with blood, and it's pretty stuck. So this is before the BEMER is on, and this is not good because the matrix around it's not getting the proper nutrients and oxygen to function optimally. After 2 minutes on the BEMER, look at the difference. All the tiniest capillaries are filled with blood. Every single time you lay on the BEMER, physiologically, this is what's happening in your body. A lot of my patients, they feel warmth and tingling in their extremities because the small capillaries open up, so you feel tingling. And if you touch the mat, there is no heat coming out of the mat. It's your own body generating heat because now your capillaries are open, your cells are producing more energy, and you feel warmer. You're probably familiar with circulation in general, but do you know what microcirculation is? Where microcirculation is one of the most important parameters in your body. This is a network of the smallest vessels in your body, and this is where all the exchange of nutrients, the exchange of oxygen happens. Nothing happens in the big veins and arteries. Those are just conductors of blood. The exchange can only happen in the smallest vessels because they only have one layer of cells, so diffusions can happen. And let me ask you a question. Do you know what's the number one cause of death in America? Heart disease, circulatory disorders. This is the number one reason why we're dying in America, and this is devastating. So it is extremely important that we have all our circulatory vessels and our tinier capillaries functioning optimally. Now, if we look at our entire vessels, did you know that we only have about 11.5% of arteries, about 14.5% of veins, and all the rest are the smallest vessels, the microvessels that we call microcirculation. 3/4 of that, about 74% of all your vessels are the smallest vessels. And if we had to lay them on the surface area, we would cover one football field. This is absolutely mind blowing. Do you know why? Because all the cells that we have, about 80 to 100 trillion cells, they need to be reached by these smallest vessels to be able to get nutrients, to be able to get oxygens, and be able to remove all the toxic waste. This can only happen through these smallest vessels. If we had to take all the smallest vessels together and align them in a tube, this tube would be about 75,000 miles long, and we could wrap around the Earth about 2.5 times. This is how incredible our human body is made. So now we have a heart that pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood every day through these miles and miles and miles of vessels. And you know that our heart is only the size of a fist, that's it. So, do you think it's possible that this little palm, the size of a fist, can push 2,000 gallons of blood through miles and miles and miles of vessels? If you had to do that in a lab, this will not work. But nonetheless, in our human body, it works. So, what's the trick? Where scientists discovered that we have a cardiac assistance in place that helps the blood to push blood that helps the heart to push blood everywhere. And this cardiac assistance, we're calling it vasomotion. So what is that? Our small vessels, right before the smallest vessel, the capillaries, they have the capacity to expand and kind of pump on a rhythmic basis. In a healthy individuals, this pumping mechanism should be happening 3 to 5 times per minute. As you see on the screen, our vessel should be constricting like this 3 to 5 times per minute. The problem is, are we healthy? Unfortunately, not so much anymore. What is health? We were designed to be hunters and gatherers. We were designed to cover 20, 30 miles a day barefoot on the ground. Do you know what's the average distance once covered in America? About half a mile. This has a devastating effect on our circulatory system. So the result of it, this vasomotion, this pumping action is not working optimally. And as we're aging already, once we pass the age of 20 years old, these mechanisms start to degrade. And if we have an illness, like in a case of a diabetic, instead of having 3 to 5 times pumping action per minute, we may have 1 per 10 minutes. This is devastating. And to which organ in particular? To our heart. Why? Because then the heart is not getting assistance anymore. It has to overwork. It has to push so hard. And now think of that. What's the number one cause of death in America? Heart disease, heart attack, circulatory disorders. Why am I talking about vasomotion in the context of BEMER? Dr. Klopp from the Institute of Microcirculation in Berlin discovered that the BEMER signal triggers this pumping action. So if you were aging, if you had a condition and you only had this cardiac assistant, this vasomotion, this pumping action happening 1 time per 10 minutes, the BEMER signal would be able to trigger it, maybe not 3 to 5 times per minute, but 1 time per minute. Such big difference than 1 time per 10 minutes. So this is the key to BEMER. When you lay on the BEMER for 8 minutes, if your vasomotion was not working optimally, finally the pumping action is stimulated, pushing blood through, opening up your smallest capillaries, delivering more nutrients to your cells, more oxygens. Once your cells have proper oxygenation, they can make energy. And once your cells have energy, they can function optimally. And all your organs are made of cells. And then your entire organs and your entire system, little by little, starts to kick in. And it triggers our internal doctors. And whatever was dysregulated in your body, little by little, gets to work optimally over time. Of course, it's not one BEMER session and you feel wonderful, but when you do it every day, 8 minutes twice a day, you will notice that after weeks of using it, every single session is cumulative. And what people are reporting is they're feeling more energy, they're sleeping better, their depression goes away, their aches and pain goes away, the digestion is increased, they're starting losing weight because their metabolism works better. I mean, the list goes on, and the mechanism is the same. BEMER is not healing anything. BEMER is just triggering this pumping action that allows your cells to get what they need. Within the first 2 minutes of a BEMER session, here is what happened. In this area of heavy calibered arteriole, we're using one frequencies of 10 Hz that triggers the pumping action here and in the heavy calibered venules. Then we use a second frequencies, an average of 30 Hz, that trigger this area of light caliber arterioles and light calibered venules. So within 2 minutes, we're stimulating 2 different areas of your vessels. It's triggering 2 different mechanisms of pumping action, and the result is we have more blood flow in your capillaries. And this mechanism is repeated 4 times in an 8-minute session. And I will show you now what happens in your body again once you use the BEMER. So we're going to see a chronically stressed person, young person, before BEMER treatment. Look at this condition. And 8 minutes later, actually this is 10 minutes later, look how it looks like. completely different. Everything is open. So after 8 minute session, you may not be feeling much, but rest assured that physiologically so much has been happening. And realize that microcirculation is the root of everything. Without blood flow, there is no life. You can live without food for a week, for a month maybe, without water for a few days. But how long can you live without oxygen? A few seconds only. And you cannot get oxygen to your cells if your circulatory system is not functioning optimally. So when you start using the BEMER, here are all the areas that will be affected. Helps your regeneration, your physical performance, your mental functioning, improving your memory because you get more blood flow into your brain. Your immune system gets to work better. You will notice that you don't get sick as often. It's a perfect anti-aging tool. You don't have to be sick to be using the BEMER. You can use it just to be able to age more gracefully and to prevent any aches and pain. It helps with the detoxification process. It helps with reducing your stress, managing your stress, and you will see that your own healing capacities are increased. The Your sex life will be improved. BEMER is better than Viagra. We have so many different testimonials on this. Your body will be able to use nutrients better. You will save so much money on medication and supplements because your body will absorb them better. So you will not need as much. You will prevent visits to your doctors repeatedly because you will feel so good. You would not have the need to see your physician as often. Your aches and pain will go away. You will sleep so much better. We have an incredible night cycle that helps your body to repair, regenerate, and detoxify while you're sleeping. Everybody loves the night cycle. You just use the BEMER in your bed, turn the BEMER on while you're going to bed, and turn it on again 8 minutes in the morning when you wake up. As easy as that. It will help incredibly your hormones levels too. I have patients entering menopause that have a lot of problem with sleeping. They have hot flashes, night sweats. Start using the BEMER every day. Use the intensive applicator over the liver. It helps them regulate their symptoms quite dramatically. Helps release endorphin, that how you will feel so much better. I mean, the list is, I can go on and on. So for sure, you probably can't get younger, but you can feel younger. You can have your body loaded with energy so that you can react to stressors in your environment and adapt to these stressors. Do you know what's the difference with somebody that gets sick all the time and another person that never gets sick? The one that never gets sick is loaded with energy. The way I see the BEMER is like my cell phone. I charge it every night to get the battery filled. I do the same with my body. I lay on the BEMER every day to charge my own batteries so that I can function optimally. Thank you so very much. Have a great day. Bye bye.